Activity is up across the board. Hey, Lily with Living Room Realty here in Portland, Oregon, here to let you know what is actually happening in our real estate market. All right, so exciting news, especially after the last few months we had, I think especially last month where we might have had a decrease in activity across the board or something close to that. This month, we are seeing an increase in new listings, pending sales, and in sold homes, which is really exciting because if you've been following our market, you know we had a really big burst in activity at the beginning of the spring. Things really slowed down. So it seems like we're finally getting into a more robust summer market, hopefully here. We'll talk a little bit about what we expect to see in the market come the rest of summer, but for now, let's get into the numbers. So new listings saw an increase of actually 22%. Really good news for those home buyers. That is 3,240 homes hitting the market last month. Means more options for you. Hopefully we'll see that trend stay through this month. Pending sales saw an increase of 9% with 2,379 homes hitting the market. Sold homes also saw an increase of 17% with 2,008 homes going to new homeowners. So exciting stuff there. That's, a pretty good increase across the board for all of those numbers. Again, hopefully means that we are seeing a boost in real estate activity as we head into the summer. Now, I'll mention, talked about this before, and it's the, thing that we predicted. We predicted that the market was just going to come back full force. Everybody was going to get used to interest rates. That didn't unfortunately happen. We're hoping now that might be the case as interest rates stay fairly stable. This is kind of a side tangent, but it's important, something we're going to talk about anyways. One thing I heard at a meeting the other day I was a part of was we are hoping to see interest rates come down by about a percentage there. We were hitting 7% at this point. If we can come back down to 6%, it'll make people just feel better of like, okay, this is just where rates are now. This is just the reality. But even coming down that percentage point, 6 felt really tough at first when we got to that point. Now that we're at 7, an interest rate of 6 might look really good to a lot of home buyers. This is also good news for you potential home sellers out there to know that buyers are going to pay attention to this and it could bring a lot of people back into the market. Also good for you home buyers to know this is, yes, total side tangent, but really good for and then we'll get to the numbers. I just learned this too at that class. It was really good that if we were to see interest rates come back down by, I believe, about a percentage point, we should see it was something crazy that nationwide, we should see about 3 million buyers come into the market. I'm going to check with them on that statistic. And if I need any corrections, I'll put it down below. But it was, basically the point there is, and I've seen this historically in other markets that I've been a part of, while it's amazing for your affordability to come back down and have the ability to buy more house, just know it's going to be the same thing for a lot of other people. And it's going to be the same for a lot of people that aren't even willing to buy right now. They're going to come back into the market. So not saying this to scare you, but to say that we are in a market that could be favorable for you in some circumstances. And there's just some nuances we want to consider, but we'll see what interest rates actually do. For now, what we're seeing in our market is, again, that heightened activity. Buyers are still coming back to the market no matter where interest rates are. We talked a lot about that. Some of my colleagues of the people that are buying and selling right now are the people that need to buy and sell or who just want to do those life events. I have a lot of clients right now that maybe are getting married, having kids, doing those other life events that just warrant them wanting to make that next step in their home buying or their home journey. Or, clients who are relocating, they've been maybe planning for a while. If they can make it work, they are going to make that move. Same thing goes for sellers. I have people that are relocating who are just ready to make that next move. And this, 7% interest rate is something that they're going to be able to work with. But yeah, it's not an advantageous time or interest rate for people that don't necessarily have to move right now. And we're seeing that in the seller data that we have at the moment. What we're seeing really hyper locally right now in the market is just very different based on price point, location, type of home, area, all of those factors. I always say this, this is why you come to us as early as possible. That way I can have our separate conversations as a client on what we're seeing in those price points, areas, all of those factors for you and educate you on that market so you're best prepared. But yeah, what we're seeing in general is if a house is really well done, has all of the things done up, they've taken care of the home really well, they've cleaned it, staged it, done all the stuff, and it's really dialed in is kind of a term we use a lot here in real estate. and the price is right, that home will sell over the weekend. We've seen houses even sell at living room, 2 days on the market again, but those are very particular homes. If a home has anything about it that is just not ideal, what we are finding is, and this is across the board, I talked to my business coach who was in Canada, a realtor in Canada, she's saying the same thing, that if there's something that a buyer would have to be flexible on, we aren't seeing buyers be that flexible. They're paying those high interest rates right now, or what is relatively seen as higher interest rates from the last few years. And so they're a little stuck on wanting to be flexible on, a home maybe needing some work, there being an external factor in the neighborhood that's maybe not ideal for them. Those people, it's hard for them to jump at the moment. So what I would say, if you are a buyer, know that if you are someone that can be a little bit more flexible, maybe you're a first-time home buyer that just wants to get into your first home and those things don't really matter to you as much, these can be really good opportunities for us to look at. If you are a seller, it's just to know that prepping your house super, super well, making sure every detail is taken care of, the house is frankly really nice and clean, is going to do wonders for you. And if there is any factor that you cannot control, we will want to make sure that we price your home properly, that people are still going to be enticed to come in, see it, and buy that home. All of that to be said, yes, this is a very particular market, so we're gonna figure that out on a case-to-case basis because yes, some homes are getting bought out right away, but other homes are sitting for some time. It doesn't mean often that there is that much wrong with a home, but it's just that they're sitting. So, and that's the case too. I just had a client, we, wrote an offer on a house that was sitting for 2 weeks and it ended up getting multiple offers. So it's really, really dependent on the area. This was also a high demand area, but it really depends. I've also still gotten people buy down credits and negotiated things for buyers. So it can be a really good market for buyers since there just are less buyers out there. So you can have a little bit more skin in the game in this market. Where we see the market going, again, it's hard to make predictions right now. Certain things we predicted, again, like having a robust market for the whole spring didn't happen. What we're hoping is to see a more robust summer, as I said. What we're thinking is it's either going to stay pretty steady with where we are right now, where we're getting more activity, more sellers are willing to sell at the moment, and stay on that through the rest of summer. Typically, historically, we see a dip in market activity in August. What I will say is based on the buyers I am talking to, people that I've been working with for a while, or people that have come to me new from sources like here on YouTube or Instagram or referrals, all the things, they are wanting to buy a house in August. I have a few people right now that are ready to buy then. So if you are someone that's thinking of selling, it could be a good time. There are people that are ready. And what that tells me, and what is a historic predictor that we have had, is if we have a slow spring, often we don't have that dip as much as we would typically in August, and we have a market that stays pretty stable, because typically why our market dips around that time is people are getting in their last vacations, things of that nature, getting ready before school, so they're less focused on real estate. In our market, because it's been slower, people might prioritize home ownership or selling their house more this August. Also, with what's happening in the economy, people might not be jumping to go on bigger vacations, spend time doing other things. So real estate could be something that's more of a focus of kind of just being serious on what is happening in their world. And then what I've been telling clients is if we do see that dip, our market does jump back pretty quickly in September typically. So either it'll just stay continuous, or we'll see a little dip there in late August, come back in September. So that's kind of what we're predicting on that front. Honestly, we talked a little bit about interest rates. We've been hoping for a while that they're going to come down. Some people are predicting that we could see it come down by a percentage point here by the end of the year, or a lot of people are saying it's going to take until the new year to see any change in it, but I'm not going to act like I have any answers on that one necessarily, just I can share what I have heard. We do not predict that they will go up anymore at this point, that they'll stay stable, or there is a chance that they're going to come down, but only by a percentage point. So if you're waiting off on buying or selling and then buying for interest rates to go down dramatically, no one is predicting that we're going to get back down to 4%. All right, so I think I kind of covered most of the things there. I'm trying to get better about my brevity on these. One I will just mention is average sales price is staying fairly stable at this moment. For the Portland metro area, we're looking about $618 for your average home price. So good to keep in mind for there that we aren't seeing home prices really waver that much. They're definitely, have gone down at times, or again, on certain properties, you're going to be able to get a deal there, but they have stayed pretty stable. So good to keep that in mind for both you home buyers and you home sellers. As I mentioned, this market is super particular, so I would happily talk with you about the specific area you are looking to buy or sell in, talk strategy, just see how I can help you, whether that's on a longer term basis or just answer a few of your questions. I am here for you, and yeah, happy to be there for you as a resource. I know this market can seem wild to people, but we see it every day. We've seen markets like this before, and we are here to serve you. So feel free to send me over a message, or you'll find my contact information below. And if you found this helpful, subscribe.